The Labubu doll craze hit my feed like a virus. Everyone had one. These weird little goblin-looking things with stitched grins and plastic eyes. Creepy cute, they called it. The kind of toy that looks adorable until you stare too long. Influencers were flexing full display walls. Limited drops. Bidding wars. Some swore theirs moved. Classic internet exaggeration, I thought. I'd just come back from a 3-week break. Self-care hiatus was the public term. In truth, I was crashing. Burnout. Breakdown. Whatever. But the algorithm doesn't wait for healing. So I cleaned up my loft in Williamsburg, repositioned the vines, warmed the lighting, and hit go live. The chat exploded as soon as I appeared. OMG, you're glowing. We missed you so much. Queen is back. I smiled, said I was in a better place. Maybe if I repeated it enough, I'd believe it. To mark the comeback, I did a fan mail unboxing. Most of it was sweet. Candles, a silk journal, skincare. Then I opened a matte black box. No label, no sender, just a little sticker shaped like a smile. Inside was a Labubu doll, bigger than most. Grayish fur, glassy black eyes, and that grin stitched tight, unnervingly deep, like it knew something. There was a note folded beneath it, for the one who helped me smile again. I laughed, but it caught in my throat. Okay, creepy, but also kinda cute. The comments went wild. That one's rare. Looks haunted, but I love it. She got the smile doll version. I placed it behind me on a shelf, facing the camera. That night, I lay in bed, half scrolling, half drifting, when I heard it. Just a faint electronic click, like a camera shutter, or maybe a phone waking up, probably the neighbor's thermostat. I didn't check, I just rolled over and pulled the covers up. The doll stayed in the background, still smiling. It started small, little things. I'd come home from a coffee run and feel like something in the apartment was off. Not messy, not stolen, just shifted. Like the air had been disturbed, like someone had breathed here without my permission. At first, I blamed myself. Sleep deprivation. Stress. I'd convinced myself I left the cabinet open, or that the candles weren't actually rotated. Then came the leak. I woke up to a dozen DMs and one email with a subject line I'll never forget. Not so zen now, huh? I clicked. There it was, my voice. A voice memo I'd recorded weeks ago after an anxiety attack. Just raw, breathless, spiraling. Me crying. Me saying I hated the influencer version of myself. Me confessing I sometimes wished I could just disappear. I never posted it, never even uploaded it to the cloud. It was saved offline, on an encrypted recorder, buried in a folder. Now it was on 3 gossip blogs. The backlash was fast and vicious. Fake woke wellness grifter, lying for likes. Always knew the tears were an act. I didn't cry. I just stared at the screen like it might catch fire. I called my manager. Then I called the NYPD cyber unit. They scanned my devices, phones, laptops, even my Wi-Fi logs. Nothing, no breach, no data transfer. Could be local, one of the detectives said. Already halfway out the door. Maybe someone's physically bugging you. I laughed at first, then stopped. That night, I came home and stood in the middle of my living room, looking around. My phone was still where I left it. My lipstick had been twisted halfway up. A drawer I hadn't opened was slightly ajar. I wasn't paranoid. I was being watched. I stopped posting. I didn't even scroll anymore. Every time I opened my phone, it was there, my own voice echoing back at me, dissected, memed, parodied. Maybe if I disappear, they'll stop expecting me to smile. Someone had even printed it on a t-shirt. Brands dropped me within days. Emails turned cold. PR stopped returning calls. I didn't blame them. I wouldn't sponsor me either. So I stayed inside, curtains drawn, phone off. Shadows creeping longer across the loft each evening. And somehow, the only thing that didn't feel like it turned on me was the Labubu doll. I'd find myself talking to it late at night, whispering things I used to save for therapy. I don't know who I am anymore. I think someone's coming in when I'm gone. I want out of this life. The doll never moved, never blinked, but it always looked like it was listening. One night, during a particularly bad spiral, I snapped. I shoved it into a tote bag, walked 3 blocks to the nearest public trash bin, and dropped it in. I watched it disappear into the black plastic maw and walked home without looking back. The next morning, it was on my windowsill. No note, no damage, just sitting there, pristine, grinning. I stood there in my robe, hair unbrushed, watching it watch me. My stomach went cold. I texted 3 friends. One ignored it, one ghosted, one told me I needed a break from my brand. My therapist gently suggested that stress might be manifesting in paranoid delusions. She upped my meds. That night, I ordered a spy cam off Amazon, one that looked like a charger. I placed it facing the front door. If someone was coming in, I'd catch them. I left the doll exactly where it was. I wanted to see what it did when no one was looking. I didn't say goodbye to the apartment. I just packed what I could, grabbed the doll, and left before the sun came up. My mom hadn't seen me in person in over a year. When she opened the door, she looked past me first, like she was expecting a film crew or maybe someone more successful. But she let me in, and that was enough. Her house sits on the edge of a wooded street in Westchester. Quiet, too quiet. No traffic hum, no sirens, just birds and creaking floorboards and the kind of stillness that feels like it's waiting. I moved into my old bedroom. Same floral wallpaper, same creaky twin bed. The air smelled like dust and lavender. Childhood trauma with a hint of potpourri. I think someone was coming into my place. I told her the second night. She gave me a look I recognized. The polite nod, the micro-pity in her smile. The kind of expression people use when they think you're not well but don't want to say it. "Sweetheart, no one's following you out here," she said. "It's safe. Relax." But I didn't feel safe, especially not after the first night I saw it. A shadow near the tree line, just outside the kitchen window. Not moving, just watching. I told her the next morning. She shrugged. "Probably a deer," she said. "Or some bored teen. This place is dead at night." I didn't argue. I just nodded and went back to bed. I kept the Labubu doll beside me now. Not on the shelf, not across the room. Right next to my pillow. I'd press its soft fur into my palm at night, like it was grounding me. The only thing that hadn't judged me, hadn't left. I used to think it was creepy. Now I found it calming, reassuring. It was always there, always smiling. Unlike everyone else, it stayed. I told myself I'd try one last live stream, just a quiet kunda to remind people I was still here, still normal. I lit a candle, wore a soft sweater, smiled until my cheeks ached. About 10 minutes in, as I answered a question about healing and rest, I heard it. A voice, not mine, not my mother's. It was low, male, and right next to me, Sienna. I froze. My mouth stopped moving, but the live stream kept rolling. I stared off screen like something had reached through it. Did anyone else hear that?" I whispered, barely able to form the words. The chat filled with, "What? Girl, you okay? She's losing it." I ended the stream mid-sentence. My hands were shaking so bad I dropped my phone. The breakdown wasn't loud. I didn't scream or throw anything. I just sat on the carpet and sobbed until my mother found me an hour later, curled in the same position I used to hide in as a kid. I checked myself into a clinic the next morning. Voluntary, short-term stay. Just enough to reset, they said. While I was gone, my mom cleaned my room. She dusted shelves, washed my sheets, even picked up the Labubu doll to move it. That's when she noticed it was heavy. Heavier than it should be for something filled with stuffing. She opened the back seam with a sewing kit. Inside, she found a pinhole camera, a mic, and a compact transmitter, neatly wired into a micro memory card. She drove it straight to the local police. The report came back 2 days later. The device was real, sophisticated, not something bought on Etsy or Amazon. Custom surveillance tech, encrypted relay system, active for weeks. It hadn't just been watching me, it had been listening, recording. The Labubu doll wasn't a gift, it was a planted device. The detective held the doll like it might bite him. Gloved hands, dead eyes. Stitched grin. "This isn't consumer grade," he muttered. "Custom build, military level encryption on the memory relay." So someone was, what, watching me through it? "Not just watching," he said. "They were archiving." I asked who could even make something like that. He shrugged. "Someone with serious resources. Maybe someone you knew, trusted." That's the part that gutted me, because I didn't trust anyone anymore. Back at the clinic, I begged them to let me see the footage from my spy cam. I'd almost forgotten I installed it. My mom brought me the micro SD card during visitation. One file stood out, dated 2 days before I fled the city. The camera, pointed at my front door, caught a man in an Amazon delivery jacket entering with a package. He moved calmly, confidently, no struggle, no mask. But here's the thing, he never left anything. And yet, when I came home the next day, the Labubu doll was back, sitting on the windowsill. I showed it to the NYPD. They said they'd review it further, that the investigation was active, that these things take time. They said a lot of things. Meanwhile, headlines had shifted from sympathy to spectacle, influencer breakdown or elaborate hoax. The doll that watched her sleep, real or paranoia. Even my therapist sounded cautious during our next session. "Sometimes," she said carefully, "trauma creates meaning where there might only be coincidence." I wanted to scream, but I just nodded, like I used to when teachers misunderstood me, and it wasn't worth the effort. No one was arrested. No suspect was named. No closure. But someone had gotten in. Someone had watched me fall apart from the inside out, and I still didn't know who. I started journaling again. Not for content. Not for therapy. Just for me. A small lined notebook. Nothing digital. No tags. No hashtags. No filters. Just ink and silence. It felt safer that way. The clinic was quiet. Clean. The kind of institutional beige that numbs you in slow, soft waves. I slept through most nights now. Ate my food. Took my meds. I told the nurses I was ready to go home soon. They smiled like maybe they believed me. I was getting better. I think, until the morning it was back. The Labubu doll, sitting neatly on my nightstand. Same crooked ears. Same perfect stitched grin. Just watching. I screamed. The nurse swore it must have been a mix-up, but my mother was firm. She had handed the doll to the NYPD herself. Logged it, tagged it. It had been taken as evidence. So how the hell was it here? They checked the staff schedule. Nothing strange. They checked visitor logs. Nothing flagged. But I begged them to review the overnight security footage. The tape was clear, until it wasn't. 3:12 a.m. A janitor pushing a cart pauses at my door. No badge. No name tag. White gloves. The footage glitches for exactly 6 seconds, then resumes. The cart is empty. The janitor is gone. The doll is sitting on my nightstand. No one has seen that man again. The clinic denies having hired him. The police never followed up. I tried to tell them, again and again, but by then I was just the girl who talked to dolls. The girl who cracked, who staged it maybe, or imagined it all. Tonight I sit up in bed. The light's off. The doll is still there, closer now. Its eyes catch the moonlight just enough to glint. I swear I hear a soft mic click, like a recording starting. Or maybe it never stopped. I roll over pretending to sleep. The doll keeps smiling. Last weekend, me and the girls did a quick trip to NYC. You know, brunch in Soho, overpriced iced matcha, fake designer sunglasses off Canal Street, the usual stuff. It was supposed to be a break from campus stress. I'd just bombed a law and ethics quiz, and Kylie said I was this close to spiraling. So naturally, I agreed. Somewhere between a knockoff bag shop and a bubble tea stall, we wandered into this cramped little gift store in Chinatown. I wouldn't even call it a store, honestly. More like a room filled with incense, Hello Kitty stickers, and dusty shelves of old figurines. The lights flickered. No music, no cashier until we were halfway inside. That's when I saw it, this weird little doll sitting by itself on a wooden crate. No box, no barcode. It looked like one of those creepy cute vinyl things that people were flexing on TikTok. Gray fur, big dead eyes, a grin sewn wide like it knew something you didn't. The whole so ugly it's aesthetic thing. I picked it up. The lady behind the counter looked at me for a little too long before saying it was $10 cash only. I figured it was fake, but I didn't care. The vibe was cool, and it would look cute on my nightstand, like a cursed beanie baby for hot girls. So I bought it, didn't even post it, just dropped it in my tote and forgot about it until I unpacked that night back at my apartment. I set it next to my candle tray and went to bed. Sometime after 2 a.m., I woke up, not from a dream, just woke up. The room was still. My phone was off, but I swear for a second, it felt like someone else was there, like someone had just exhaled near my neck. I turned on the light. The room was empty, but the doll was facing me. I think I left it facing the window. Maybe. I told myself I was just being dramatic, and went back to sleep. Eventually, Ryan used to be just there. The kind of guy who blends into lecture halls and group projects like background noise, wears the same faded hoodie every day, always carries a messenger bag that looks like it hasn't been washed since freshman orientation. We had a few classes together. He sat in the back, never raised his hand. Honestly, I didn't notice him much until a few weeks ago. Now, I feel like he notices everything. It started small, weirdly specific comments after class, like, "You switched to iced oat milk lattes again," or "That playlist you were listening to in the quad yesterday, is that new Florence plus the Machine?" Stuff I never posted, never told anyone. And I swear I saw him staring at my phone screen once from 2 tables over in the library. I told myself he was just awkward. Smart guy, harmless. Then I got a DM from a burner account. No name, no bio, just a message: "You bite your pen when you're nervous." It's cute. I froze. I do bite my pen, but only during tests, in class, and only if someone was watching closely. That night, I locked my bedroom door for the first time since moving into this apartment. Not because I thought Ryan was breaking in. I just couldn't shake the feeling of being seen. The next morning, I woke up late for class. Sun pouring in. Room quiet. I sat up in bed and nearly screamed. The doll was on my pillow. Not on the nightstand. Not on the shelf where I always put it. Right next to my face. Head tilted just slightly toward me. Still smiling. I didn't remember putting it there, but I also didn't remember unlocking my door. I asked my roommate if she'd touched it. She rolled her eyes and said I was getting paranoid again. Maybe I was, or maybe Ryan wasn't just watching anymore. I've never sleep-talked. Ever. My roommate would have told me. She's the lightest sleeper on earth. The type who wakes up if a door creaks on TikTok. But one morning, while getting ready for class, I opened my DMs and found a voice memo from an untraceable account. No profile pic. No followers. I played it without thinking. That was a mistake. It was my voice. Soft, groggy, breathy. "He's in the room again." I stopped mid-eyeliner. My hand started shaking so bad I had to sit down. It was me. But it wasn't a memory. I hadn't said that. At least not awake. The cadence, the tone. It sounded like I was asleep. Or drugged. How did they get that? Who records someone in their sleep unless they're in the same room? I didn't tell anyone. I didn't want another "you need to unplug" lecture from Kylie. Instead, I walked into Ethics 204 like I wasn't unraveling inside. Ryan was already there. Same hoodie, same blank stare. I took the seat furthest from him. After class, he came up to me. "Hey," he said, smiling awkwardly. I found this. Thought it might be yours." He handed me a delicate gold chain. My necklace. The one I lost weeks ago. I thought I dropped it in the gym locker room. I never told anyone it was missing. I nodded. Took it. Didn't say a word. That night, I got another message from another burner account. "You look better without jewelry anyway." That's when my body finally betrayed me. I started shaking. Full-on trembling. Like my bones had turned to glass. I couldn't breathe right. Couldn't think. I turned the doll around so it faced the wall. I didn't want it watching me while I tried to sleep. It was a small thing, but the next morning, it was facing me again. I don't know what finally pushed me to do it. The messages? The necklace? The doll facing me again? Maybe it was all of it. The feeling that my life had quietly stopped being mine. I ordered a mini spy cam from Amazon, the kind that's built into a fake charging brick. It had good reviews, 5 stars, perfect for dorm security. I didn't tell anyone. I just plugged it into the wall across from my bed and pointed it toward the shelf, toward the doll. Nothing happened for 2 nights. Just footage of me tossing, turning, checking my phone, scrolling TikTok, hugging my pillow like a lifeline. I felt stupid, like I was trying to catch a ghost with a security system. But on the 3rd night, I woke up to a pit in my stomach. No sounds, no messages, just that feeling again, like I was being watched even though my door was locked. I waited for daylight, heart pounding, and checked the camera file right after brushing my teeth. At 2:47 a.m., the video showed my door opening. There was no sound, just movement. A figure stepped in, hoodie up, slow, deliberate, not rushed, not scared. He didn't look around, didn't check for cameras. He walked straight to the doll. He picked it up, tilted its head slightly, stared into its eyes. Then, and this part made my skin crawl, he turned the doll to face my bed. He looked up, right into the camera, and smiled. Not big, just a small, satisfied smile, like he was proud of himself. Then he waved. One slow, casual wave, like we'd known each other for years. The screen froze. Then the file glitched. Static lines, image distortion, and shut off. I checked the SD card. That was the only video that had corrupted. All the others still played fine. I don't know what scared me more, that he found the camera, or that maybe he put it there. I didn't sleep that night. Not after the video, not after the wave. I unplugged the charger cam, locked the windows, bolted the door, pulled my dresser in front of it. My hands were trembling so badly I could barely grip the knob. Every creak of the floor above me felt like a breath on the back of my neck. Around 4 a.m., I got up and walked to the shelf. The doll was still there. Smiling, always smiling. I stared at it for a long time. The stitches on its face, the weight of it in my hand. It had always felt slightly heavier than it should, denser. I grabbed a pair of kitchen scissors and didn't think twice. The first cut was hard. The fabric was thicker than I expected, like it wasn't meant to be opened. Stuffing spilled out, but not much. Tucked inside the belly, under a layer of padding, I found something wrapped in black electrical tape, a memory card. No label, no explanation, just there. I put it in my laptop, half praying it wouldn't read. But it did. It opened a file directory. No names, just timestamps. Dozens of them. I clicked the first one. It was me, low res, like an old security feed. I was sitting at my desk brushing my hair. Another showed me asleep, curled on my side, mouth slightly open. Then one of me laughing on FaceTime with Kylie. Another, and another. All from angles that don't exist in my room. Some high above me, some near the door. One from inside the closet. My chest locked up. I opened the last folder. It had only one name, smile_for_me. Inside were short clips. I wasn't speaking, just smiling. At random moments, brushing my teeth, walking past a mirror, lying in bed scrolling. Every time I smiled, the camera zoomed, like someone was waiting for it. I slammed the laptop shut. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just put the doll in a shoebox, duct taped it shut, and shoved it to the back of my closet. And it still felt like it was looking at me. I did everything I was supposed to do. I went to campus security the next morning, memory card in hand. Every ounce of pride swallowed and replaced with adrenaline. I explained everything. The footage, the doll, the break-ins, the voice message, the camera glitch. They nodded, took notes, and then the officer leaned back in his chair and said, "You sure you're not overthinking things?" Overthinking, like I just imagined a stranger in my room turning a toy to face my bed. I left before I lost it. Back at the apartment, I tried explaining it to my roommate, Emma. Her eyes were already skeptical before I even finished the sentence. "Ryan," she said, like I had accused a squirrel of Grand Theft Auto. "He's awkward, sure, but he's harmless. He probably just has a crush. You're freaking him out more than the other way around." I wanted to shake her, to scream. He watched me sleep. He took pictures of me brushing my hair. But instead, I packed up my bag and headed to the dorms. If they weren't going to do anything, I was. Ryan's dorm door was unlocked. I shouldn't have gone in. I know that, but I did. His room was eerily neat, minimalist, bed made too tightly, desk empty except for a laptop and a stack of sketch pads. I opened the top drawer of his desk. Inside was a folded photo, glossy, 4x6, printed from Instagram. Me in a crop top and jeans, leaning against the dining hall railing. Casual, unposed. From 6 months ago. He'd printed it. Beneath the photo was a crumpled receipt from a small Chinatown novelty shop, dated 2 weeks before our NYC trip. Item, handmade toy, 1 unit. Cash. My hands went numb. That meant he had bought the doll before I ever saw it. Before I even walked into that store. I left, transferred schools, moved 3 states away, blocked every number I didn't recognize. New SIM card. New apartment. No social media, not even private stories. I wiped myself off the internet like I'd never existed. The restraining order was issued. Not that it mattered. Ryan disappeared before the police could even question him. No one's seen him since. His dorm was cleared out in less than a day. Part of me thought I'd made it all up. The doll, the photos, the footage. Maybe I had overthought everything, just like campus security said. Maybe I was just another stressed-out girl who cracked under pressure. But then came last Thursday. I got home from class and there it was. A small manila envelope on my doorstep. No stamps, no delivery label, just my name in block letters. I stared at it for a long time before picking it up. It was light. Inside was another doll. Not the same one, slightly smaller. This one had a red ribbon around its neck, stitched in. The same oversized eyes, the same grin, wide and toothy, like it knew something I didn't. It smelled faintly like old incense and dust. No note at first, but tucked inside the lining of the envelope was a small slip of paper, folded 3 times, handwritten. "Was never just me. You were everyone's favorite." I dropped it. I didn't even scream. Just stood there, my whole body locking up like I'd been unplugged. I know I should report it. Turn it in. Call someone. But I haven't. It's sitting in the top drawer of my desk now, wrapped in a pillowcase, taped shut. I don't sleep much. I check the locks 5 times every night. Because the worst part isn't the doll. The worst part is that I don't know how many of them there are, or how many people were watching me. Not just him, not just one. More. I bought the doll to roast it. That's it. No deeper meaning, no emotional backstory. It was just sitting there on eBay, some creepy cute half-melted thing with oversized teeth and haunted Furby energy. The listing said limited Labubu, collectors only. I paid $29.99 and felt instantly ashamed. Anyway, I opened the video calling it a cursed Furby from hell. I gave it 5 seconds of serious review, vinyl material, soulless eyes, unblinking smirk, then launched into chaos. I made it dry hump a Gatorade bottle, accused it of tax fraud, and flung it across the room at least twice. Pure algorithm bait. The usual. I edited the whole thing with bad VHS effects and a caption that read, "This thing is watching me sleep. Please send help." People loved it. Within hours, the clip started popping up on meme pages with captions like POV, "You're the only one who doesn't love Labubu. This doll is my sleep paralysis demon, and I support her. He's scared. I would be too." I wasn't scared. I was just riding the wave. Comments dared me to keep it on set. So I did. For the bit. I propped it on the shelf behind me, wedged between a broken BTS Funko Pop and my cursed candle from last year's Halloween haul. That night, I was finishing up edits around 1:30 a.m., room silent except for fan noise and my own typing. Then I heard it, a soft click, like something mechanical shifting behind my monitor. I paused, waited. Nothing. I chalked it up to my ancient surge protector or maybe the AC. But when I stood up, I swear, the doll was sitting slightly forward, just a little more turned, like it was leaning in, still smiling. I filmed a haul video 2 days later. Nothing fancy, just some ironic eBay finds, a Garfield alarm clock that screams instead of rings, a deflated Minions pool float, and a VHS tape labeled Pee Wee's Final Day. Real cursed core energy. I'd moved the Labubu doll off-set for the shoot, like deliberately threw it behind the green screen so it wouldn't photobomb the new trash I was unboxing. Didn't think twice. But when I scrubbed through the raw footage to check audio levels, there it was, in the background, just barely in frame. Perched on the far shelf, half-lit, grinning, I stared at it for a good 10 seconds. Thought, did I forget to move it? Did I drag the clip from another shoot by accident? Nope. Timestamp checked out. Camera angle never changed. So I did what any semi-functioning internet clown would do. I edited in a zoom and added a jump scare sound, captioned it, "How did she get there?" The comments exploded. "She's claiming the channel now." "Chris? Who? I'm here for Labubu." Plot twist. He's the sidekick now. People started writing fanfics, shipping us, making edits, calling it Labubu X Cringe Man. Someone made an Instagram account for her, at Smile Wider Babe. 12K followers in 6 hours. So naturally, I went full chaos and filmed a follow-up. I burned the demon doll, not clickbait. I doused it in lighter fluid in a fireproof dish and roasted it with my kitchen torch on stream. Flames, screaming. The whole bit. Felt good. The next morning, I opened the door for my Amazon package, and there it was, on the welcome mat, smiling. Charred around the edges, smelled like melted plastic and incense. At first, I thought I was losing track of things, misplacing footage, dragging the wrong files, accidentally importing B-roll from older shoots. Stuff like that happens when you're editing at 3 a.m. fueled by Red Bull and existential dread. But it kept happening. In every new upload, the doll started showing up in places I never filmed, behind my chair, on the microwave. Once, crouched behind the couch like it was waiting for something. I combed through the raw files, unedited GoPro footage, 4K stills, security cam exports. Same thing. She was there. At my feet during a live stream, perched on my desk in a time-lapse where I swear I'd cleared the room. One frame, and I'll never forget this, had her in the kitchen corner. Just the ear showing in the reflection of the toaster. I don't even remember setting up a shot in the kitchen. And then came the bruises. One morning I woke up and looked in the mirror, 2 pale marks on my neck, like someone had grabbed me while I slept. Not deep, just enough to feel wrong, enough to make me check every lock in the apartment. Twice, later that day, I opened my camera roll to find 3 selfies. I hadn't taken them. Same lighting as my bedroom, same shirt I'd worn the night before, but in each one I was smiling. Wide, too wide, eyes a little too glassy, like something was holding my face in place. Caption under one, "Almost there, babe." That night, a DM popped up from an account with no name and no posts. Just 2 words, "You look better with that smile." I deleted the app, but the notifications kept coming. At some point, I stopped fighting it. Maybe it was when I hit 1.6 million views on the Labubu POV, watching my human spiral video. Or when Redbubble fan merch I didn't authorize started out selling my actual shirts. Or maybe it was the night I caught myself talking to her. Not for content, just talking. It started with little bits. I'd shoot videos where she sat next to me like a co-host. I'd ask her what she thought about crypto or Kanye's latest breakdown. Deadpan silence. Viewers ate it up. I wore a matching grin, tilted my head like hers. Someone commented, "You're sinking, love that for you." Another said, "She's in him now FR." The numbers blew up. A brand offered me a limited plush collab, Smile Wider with Chris and Boo. I almost said yes, but something in my brain twitched and whispered, "Don't." I ignored it. But something changed off camera. I started filming sleep logs, just to check, just to feel sane. One night I watched the footage and froze. 3:13 a.m. My body sits up in bed. Slow, mechanical, eyes open but unfocused. My mouth spreads into that smile. Not mine anymore. Too tight, too wide, and I whisper, "Still here." Then I lie back down, like nothing happened. I don't remember any of it. I stopped reviewing sleep footage after that. I didn't want to know what else I did while smiling like her. But even in my private rants, voice memos, trash takes I never upload, the smile doesn't go away. It's always there now, on my face. Like it's settled in. Sometimes, when I pause the footage at just the right second, I swear her eyes move, and they're looking at me. I snapped, woke up one morning, walked straight to my desk, and deleted everything. Channel, merch store, backup accounts, nuked the lot. Then I packed a single duffel, grabbed my passport, and flew out to Arizona to stay with my brother. Told him I needed a break from screen rot and content cycles. He nodded like he got it, tossed me a beer and said I could crash in the guest room. No tech, no signal, no cameras. I didn't bring the doll. Before leaving, I drove 30 minutes outside LA and chucked it into the river. Watched it float, sink, vanish. Felt like a baptism. That night in Arizona, I slept like I hadn't in weeks. No dreams, no whispers. Until the next morning, my brother was sitting at the breakfast table, scrolling TikTok with a weird look on his face. He held out his phone. "Dude," he said, "you're trending again." I took the phone. The video was grainy, night vision. Me, lying in bed, mouth slightly open, breathing shallow. The Labubu doll on my chest, like it had crawled up there, like it belonged. And then I started mumbling. Not words exactly, just a soft rhythmic repetition. Keep smiling. Keep smiling. The caption on the video read, "He's smiling again, #Labubu, #watching you, #Chris lives." Over 200K likes. I didn't post it. My brother didn't film it. There was no camera in that room. My phone was off. I hadn't touched a computer in days. But the video was real. My face was real. My voice was real. I didn't know how it got out there. But I knew one thing for sure. Getting offline meant nothing. Because whatever this was, it didn't need Wi-Fi anymore. It got worse. I came back online just to see how far it had spread. Big mistake. There were dozens of deep fake videos now. Some were basic, me reacting to dumb videos, smiling, doing reaction faces I never filmed. Others were disturbing. One had me whispering sweet nothings to the doll. Another had me reading a Labubu x Chris fanfic in my voice. AI cloned, perfectly timed breath sounds. I never said any of it. I never filmed any of it. Someone was even selling a text-to-speech version of me. You could pay $3 and make me say whatever you wanted. A guy used it to propose to his girlfriend. Another used it to narrate a true crime podcast in smiling Chris voice. I filed DMCA after DMCA, emailed platforms, lawyered up, no use. Then, as some cosmic joke, I got a cease and desist from a merch brand claiming I was copying their Labubu parody character. Same wide grin, same cadence. They said I was stealing a public figure's likeness, and the public figure was the version of me they had invented. That night, I stood in front of the mirror and tried not to move. Total stillness, but my reflection, it twitched. My mouth curled, just slightly. Just enough. The corners of my lips bent into that too familiar curve, even though I hadn't moved a muscle. It held there, like something inside my skin was stretching. I blinked. It vanished, but the imprint stayed with me. I used to be a creator, a personality. Now I'm just another meme, a puppet people pass around in group chats. My face doesn't belong to me anymore. And the worst part? People like this version of me better. I didn't promote it. No tweet, no link drop, no smash that like button. Just opened OBS, hit go live, and stared into the lens. My face looked wrong. Pale, flat. The shadows didn't fall where they used to. I hadn't shaved. I hadn't eaten. Didn't matter. "Hey," I said. Over 80,000 people joined in the first 2 minutes. The chat moved too fast to read. Fire emojis. Skull emojis. People typing "Smilliwider" in all caps. I didn't smile. I said, "Thank you for watching. I just wanted to be seen." Behind me, on the chair, The doll sat in my old merch hoodie, smile wider across its chest. One arm slumped, one eye slightly glinting under the ring light. I didn't look back at it. I ended the stream at 3:33 a.m., deleted my hard drives, shut down everything. I left my apartment without locking the door, left my phone in the freezer, left the doll where it was. 2 days later, someone sent me a link. A new channel had gone live. No face, no name, just a stream titled "We're Still Smiling." Same setup, same ring light, same room, same doll, but it wasn't me in the video. It was some other guy, younger, thinner, over-smiling, like his cheeks were stapled. His voice was bright, but wrong, like something was using it, wearing it. He welcomed the chat, called the doll his co-host, said it was her turn to speak soon, and when he leaned back in the chair, he turned and winked, the exact way I did in my old intros. The smile on his face didn't reach his eyes, but it didn't need to, because the algorithm doesn't care who's behind the camera. As long as the smile stays,